Andy Burnham announcing big cross-party talks that seem to have excluded Reform UK. Now, before I get to that, I have to say I thought this showing from the Green leader Zack Polanski on the BBC yesterday was utterly disgraceful. And of course, you have seen the Greens steadily declining in the polls recently. I thought his response to this was an absolute disgrace.
Do you want to take this opportunity to apologise to Nigel Farage?
Well, if I'd done it deliberately, I'd be apologising. But because this was a mistake, I think the important thing is that I point out it's a mistake, that I also make sure that I condemn political violence. And also, crucially, I make a commitment to be better on my social media.
OK. Do you want to apologise then or not?
No. The reason for that is because Nigel Farage, when I posted this, or when the person posted it, it got less than 1,000 likes. Nigel Farage then took it, cropped it, so it made it look like I posted it, which I think was fundamentally dishonest. It's now had 3.2 million views. So actually, this whole conversation has been seen more because Nigel Farage, Lee Youssef, and I think Richard Tice posted it. So I'm accepting my responsibility in that I shouldn't have accepted that collaboration. I'm accepting that we all need to condemn political violence. But I also think the reporting to the police, the ramping up of the language to say this is incitement to murder me, feels like that's also putting me in a dangerous spot.
So I have got reaction from Reform UK to your interview with Zack Polanski, and a senior Reform UK source has said to me, "It's truly astonishing and quite frankly sickening that Zack Polanski won't apologise for inciting murder. He admits it was wrong, he admits it's dangerous, but he still refuses to apologise. Mr Polanski," this Reform UK source says to me, "is not fit to lead a national political party."
Since 2013, I've been the most attacked public figure in British public life. You've seen some of it, the pictures of milkshakes, etc. But frankly, the British public don't know the half of it. Physical attacks and, of course, verbal threats online. Cars vandalised, cars even written off. Attacks, dangerous attacks on the family home. Throughout all those years, I asked for help from the Home Office. None was ever provided of any kind at all. When I did finally become an MP, they actually removed most of it a year in to doing that job. But the murder of Anne Widdecombe has put everything into a completely new context. And it's why what Zack Polanski, the leader of the Green Party, did yesterday in posting on Instagram "We're only making plans for Nigel with a guillotine" is nothing less than incitement. I have reported this to the Metropolitan Police. Can you imagine if I'd said something as insightful as that? I mean, goodness me, I'd be in handcuffs as we speak. I've had no apology from Polanski. The Met Police tell me they're dealing with the case. But frankly, if people want to criticise me for having been given money to make sure I'm safe for the rest of their lives, well, they can criticise all they like.
But look absolutely clear that the Prime Minister, Andy Burnham, with some big spending plans that are going to hit this government very, very quickly, which is why I still think there's the chance of an early general election, because there are massive, gaping economic holes opening up already. And as ever with a Labour government, the answer seems to be raise taxes higher and higher and higher. Now, remarkably, it does seem like there are going to be cross-party talks that exclude Reform UK, which is pretty crazy when you think about it, given Reform recently led hundreds of opinion polls as the most popular party in the country.
So the Prime Minister invites the leaders of the Conservative and Liberal Democrats to sit down and talk about social care, but does not invite Reform UK. This is the political establishment. This is the uniparty in action. Perhaps this is because of our total outright opposition to anything with regard to death taxes being on the table. We are completely opposed to that in every regard. My guess is that's the main reason we've been excluded.
As for what the new Prime Minister had to say today, well, that a review would be brought forward, that there'd be a new policy, kicking the can down the road till autumn 2027, that there'll be a review brought forward, but still talking about a year from now in terms of social care. And yeah, it just seems like this is something that's been sort of vaguely discussed without any actual decisions being made now. What's also clear, though, is whatever policy they eventually do come up with won't have been in Labour's last manifesto. So again, it raises the prospect of an early general election. But look, in terms of what Andy Burnham had to say today, this is part of it. Watch this and let me know what you make of this in the comments below.
That brings me then to what I want to announce today. 3 announcements, and you've already got a flavour of some of them, but this is what I've decided to do coming into office, to bring things forward. And the first thing is to ask Baroness Casey Louise to bring forward her review by a year. So working with Yvette and with Angela and other colleagues, we want to expedite that review. We ideally want to do it even sooner, but we've got to be realistic. But if we say a year from now that we have that independent review, then I think we can rise to this challenge with the urgency it requires. So that's the first announcement. And let me also just say something about what I want that review to address. I go back to what we proposed in 2010, and Phil Hope was Minister at that time, a national care service. A national care service. Well, why do we talk about that? Because we need to talk about a system that can become highly integrated with the NHS. Social care is different. It has to be person-centred. If it's not person-centred, like the brilliant care provided here at Jewish Care, then it won't be what people would recognise as social care. You don't want to over-medicalise care, but it has to be very integrated with the rest of the system. It has to be preventative in its character. It has to be person-centred. And that's what we're asking Louise to give us her report on. How do we deliver a national care service in England that sits alongside the National Health Service, works in a similar way, that is highly integrated and can optimise the journey of a patient. If a patient's leaving home to hospital, back as quickly as possible, and there's no delay. We also then ask for a principle of home care wherever possible, so that we have an approach that supports people where they should be and often where they want to be, rather than ending up in a hospital bed. So how do we deliver a national care service? And there are different ways of doing it. You could do the fully fledged version, or you could do a lesser version. And you could do something in between, and then you have the question of how you pay for all of those options. But that's the stuff of the review, and the big conversation will feed that review. And again, I would ask everybody to engage with it in that way. The second announcement is to immediately, and not wait for the review, focus on the social care workforce.